Hi, my name is Annie, and today I'm going to talk about how to dress for fat biking. The number one mistake people do when they start to practice the sport of fat biking is usually related to how they dress. So today I'm going to explain a little bit layering system that you can use as a baseline to know how to dress for different weather and for the sport of fat biking. Note that this layering system can also be used for other outdoor sports that you're doing. So the first is a base layer. A base layer is usually made in a material that it is either merino wool or polyester. We do want to really eliminate all cotton material from our clothing when we are practicing a outdoor sport, as this is a material that would really accumulate all the moisture in it, and that's when you're gonna get cold. So as a base layer, you want merino or polyester to be able to take the humidity away from your body. So the first layers that we have on our body is our underwear. So if you are wearing a sports bra, it is important to actually check the label on your sports bra and make sure that it's not made of cotton. Same thing for boxers or underwear. As a base layer, because we are fat biking, we can still use our padded shorts underneath as a base layer. If you do wear a padded shorts, you do not need to wear underwear underneath. So you can just use this shorts as your base layer. This is a merino shirt that is usually the sweater I wear as a base layer. And these are leggings that are isolated with poly fleece a little bit inside. So this is also a pair of leggings that you can use as a base layer. There are also merino leggings, just like this material, that can be used for your bottom layers. On top of this base layers, usually what I will wear is another layers of clothing depending on the weather. So this is where you're gonna choose which layers you're gonna wear if it's cold outside or if the weather is more warm. So there's multiple type of layering you can add as a second coat, but what you do want to look at is also a second layers that will be made of polyester or polyfleece, and that's why the reason for that is that you want this material to be able to absorb the humidity that will be accumulating into your base layer itself. What we are trying to do is have the humidity go away from our body so that our body is going to stay warm. So we can use another layer of merino wool to put over this base layer. We could also we have these sweater at store that's usually marked like climate wear. They have like cold wear or eat gear. So these are material that we could use to put over our base layer also. And on a day that is a little bit colder, this is a type of sweater in polyfleece inside that you can use to put over also this base layer. On a very cold day, this is a type of polyfleece that you can buy pretty much everywhere that is really accessible that we can put over a base layer. This is another example of that sweater. And you can use a down-fill jacket on very cold weather. So an example would be to put a polyfleece on a very cold day. I would put a down-fill, and now we could add a shell. The roll of the shell, this is gonna be the layer for the warm, and the shell is gonna be the layers that's gonna cut the wind. and protect from the other element, like sometimes rain or wind. So this would be the shell that I could put over. As you can see, I have a lot of layers on. This would be to be on a very, very cold day, but know that when you are active and that you are pedaling on your bike, you're gonna get warm very, very quickly. So here's what I usually wear as a start when I go biking. When I start my ride, I usually only wear this base layer and a shell. And what I do, I will bring it down or a sweater like this with me. So whenever I stop on the trail or at the fire pits at Don's Inn, I will add a layer of jacket for warm when I stop. Same thing applies for your pants. I will have layers of a base layer. You can wear, like this is like a shell pants. Sometimes we have hiking pants that can be used also. Those hiking pants that repels water are a good pants that we can wear. Pants that you would wear for cross-country skiing is also a really good pair of pants that you can wear for fat biking. So, other than a jacket that I would not recommend to wear would be a jacket like this here that is totally made out of Gore-Tex, and that's basically like a rain jacket. This is it looks a lot like those little shell jackets, but it really traps all the heat inside, so it's gonna make you sweat a lot. When we sweat and we're active outdoor, the issue is that the second that we do stop and that our activity, this is when we're really gonna get cold. So we wanna try to be active and use our layers as we go on the trail and that our activities is going, so that we are actually not sweating. So that's why we're talking about multiple layers, that we're supposed to play with those layers as we are on the trail, so that we don't get too much sweaty. When it comes to layering, we're also gonna talk about layering in our boots. As you can see here, I have 3 different type of boots, but they're definitely not the same type of, they all look alike, but they're not the same type of boots. These are really winter boots. This is a hiking boots, but if you go at the store and you look at boots, they look all the same. So be aware that there's a little ticket inside with a number of grams. So this is a 200-gram boots, and these are 400 grams. The higher the gram, the warmer the boots are. So you could use a boot like this for fat biking. What I do, if on a day that is not too cold, you can use a boot like this and add some felt. This is a wool felt that I actually bought at dollar store. And this one has a side of wool and isolation that you can insert into your boots to get extra warm on your toe. Because one of the places that we are usually always cold while we're biking is our feet and our hands. So we're also gonna layer clothing in our boots. So here I have liner socks, and I will add a merino socks on top. The trick for merino is to really read the label on the socks, because the higher the percentage of merino, the better the socks. And there are a lot of branding outdoor that at stores that mark that they're merino socks, but wool, but there's not a lot of merino inside, so don't pay too much for your socks. What I do also add with my boots is a little gaiters like this that I will usually seal the bottom of my pants with my boots. So if ever I have to step out of my bike and my feet goes too deep into the snow, there won't be any snow going into my boots, and it will keep my feet dry and warm. When it comes to glove, the same system apply. We need to remember that we need our hands to be active for shifting and braking, and we're gonna need our fingers to do that. So big bulky mittens like this usually don't work very well when we're biking. So what I do recommend is to have a regular winter glove, and you can have an insert inside for layering for your glove. You need to make sure that there's enough space. It's same thing apply for your boots. Sometimes it's better to have like a boot that's half a size bigger, a glove that's a little bit bigger if we want to layer and leave some space, because if it gets really too tight on your hands and feet, that's also a moment where you're gonna get cold. Here I also have a different glove that we can use if we prefer mittens to glove. This is also an alternative that's going to give me a chance to still use my brake and my levers. I always have little paws like this, warmer for my feet and my gloves in my backpack when I fat bike, because hands and feet is usually a place where people will get cold. I know that on the market there are socks and gloves that are battery operated to give some heat. This is also a material that exists on the market. When it comes to helmet, we always wear a helmet when we up on our bikes. We can use a regular summer helmet. What I recommend, and this is what you use, is to have either a buff underneath, bevlaka underneath, or you could use a buff underneath or a small little hat like this. But if you use these type of hat underneath or buff, to have an extra buff, so you have one that's going to be covering your head, you have your helmet, but you wear an extra buff to cover your ear and your neck. So remember that if you have a hat underneath your helmet, that you will need to readjust your helmet. You're going to need to readjust your strap, and you need to make sure that your helmet is still fitting properly on your head. Another alternative to a helmet in colder days is a ski helmet. Some of them are made for fat biking also. This one has a ear cover that keeps your ear warm. I also wear a buff to help with my neck and my face. We can use ski goggle on a very cold day to protect our eyes, and regular mountain bike glasses that are made out of plastic are also an alternative that we can use, mostly to prevent our eyes from the wind during winter, and branches from trees when we are on the trail. When we are fat biking and mountain biking, I find it's really good to always have a little backpack on you. One is to have some layers with you that you can interchange if your clothes get wet. If you get cold, you can have something or remove a layer if you need. But also to have extra snack in your backpack. A lot of time when we get cold, a good thing is to eat to help yourself warm up. If you have allergies, asthma, issues with your heart, and you're taking medication, have them in your backpack ready to use. It's a good thing to have Kleenex in your backpack, sunscreen for the winter also. And during winter time, the sun goes down a lot faster than during the summer, so it's good to have a light on your bike or on your helmet like this here. Oops, that you can add on your helmet when you're riding. So I hope this helped, and that I'll see you on the trail.